So this is an enlarger that I'm really excited that I got. It's the Omega enlarger B-22. And the reason I'm doing this video is because I don't see anything on YouTube about this enlarger. I am not an expert at all. I don't know much about it, but I have learned. I read the manual, and so I'm putting this up there, and maybe it can help other people who have the same enlarger, and maybe I'll get comments from people who know more than I do, which is almost anyone. But anyway, I'll take it apart, and then I have to make some adjustments anyway, and clean some things because I haven't used it in a little while. And then I'll put it back together, and that'll be more in close-up. So this is going to be a wide view to give anyone an idea of what makes it up, and then I'll do a close-up view, hopefully, of the parts going back together. So hopefully that helps some people. Anyway, I'm going to start by taking off the enlarger head, by undoing those screws there. And if you lower this just a little bit, I'm not going to take everything apart, so I'm just going to let that hang there. And then to take off this doohickey, you unscrew right here. You can screw it enough so that sitting like that, you can back it up and pull it right off. Let's retighten that. So this is for whatever those things are called. So what's interesting, the thing that I didn't know, and that I think some people have had questions about with this enlarger, is there's 3 diffuser heads, and I hope I'm calling those the right thing, or light condensers or whatever it is that help the light spread evenly. And depending on how you're using the enlarger, you don't necessarily need all 3 of them. I was just reading this in the manual, and I didn't know that because I had been trying to do some medium format enlargements, and I couldn't do it with what I thought was an adequate sized lens. I was using a 75mm, which is supposed to be good enough to do 6x6, and I was still getting a big circle around it. And it turns out, I'm not sure if this is true. I'm going to confirm this later on because I haven't tried again, but this extra condenser lens, you'll see that it has that circle there. I think that's what was giving me the circle around my thing. So you're not supposed to use it when you're doing 6x6. So that's a little piece of information. You use this when you're doing 35mm. Hold like that. Yeah. So that's one lens that goes in there. I'm going to clean that and put it back, or not put it back because I'm going to be doing medium format next. In this thing, there's also, I'm not happy to be doing it that way. So there's one lens. I should get the right terminology if I'm trying to be good. There's one lens there. There's a metal spacer. And again, this will be more zoomed in later on. People are laughing at me already. Metal spacer and a 3rd lens. So I'll do a video. I'm going to clean it up and then put it all back together. Now, a couple other things I wanted to go over from this wide view. To adjust the alignment, my understanding, again, I don't know that much, but I couldn't find much information about it, but it's just these screws that you can play around with to make sure that this is level with your baseboard. So the screws are right there and right there. This has these little wheels, treads here that you want to make sure are on this track so that it's also level. And then from back here, this little screw can let you move it up and down. While we're here, this is how you adjust the focus by going up and down there. When I bought my enlarger, I bought it used from a great place that gave me pretty much the full setup. And I had to transport it up here to where I live in the Arctic, which meant putting it in a bunch of bins so that I could safely transport it. And it was kind of big and a little bit hard to do. So I had to take everything apart and then put it back together. One of the things that was included in the kit they gave me was this heat-absorbing glass. And I'm pretty sure, because everything else they gave me was perfect and all fit together and worked great, but this didn't fit in properly. And when I looked at the manual, the heat-absorbing glass that often came with it had a little mounting, metal mounting clip. And so that it could fit up, I believe it would fit up in here and would be small enough to fit up in there and be bolted in. So I'm going to have to figure out a way to make it either stick to that or that. And what that does, the heat absorbing glass, it really makes a significant difference in the heat output, because that lamp gets very hot. So if you don't want to damage your film, or you don't want to damage your filters, especially the filter that goes in here that's pretty close to the lamp, having this heat absorbing glass above it is a great idea. So I'm not sure how I'm going to do that, because I don't think it's the exact right size. Maybe I'm wrong and there's a better way to do it that I don't know about. Again, if someone knows, that would be great to know. Okay, so these lenses, give them a quick clean to make them as free of dust as I can. And there's two of these types of lenses. So the concave, you want the flat side going down, the concave part going up. And I find this incredibly tricky to get it in there in the first place without getting my fingerprints all over it. But anyway, you lower it in there. So I have the bulb side up. Now I have a spacer that's going to hold the next lens. I'll give that a quick wipe as well. I think the higher up you get, the less you have to worry about the dust, because hopefully the light's going around the dust. But this one, the concave side, is going to go face downwards on top of the spacer. So the spacer kind of can be put in like that. I might try and do it all at once, so I'm not dropping the lens in there and hoping that it lands right, but we'll see. I really hate this part of it. Oh, but that worked really swell. Awesome. So the last thing here is, as I mentioned, is this other lens. This is a third lens. So if you're using a 50 milliliter enlarging lens right here, which is what I have on here now, but I'm going to switch into medium format, you'd use this lens. So you clean it up and you drop it in, and it would just go flat on the other lens. But I'm not going to do that because I want to be doing medium format. I got a few lenses in that I'm going to be testing out and maybe making you some videos about. So that's that part of it. Yeah. Now that I have this housing all together, I'm going to go and try and put it on here. There's these two bolts right there. I'm going to try and put it on. There we go. They slide in kind of. And I hope the other one slides in. There we go. And then we tighten them up. There we go. So that's neat. And then the last part is the lamp house here. That's still in the shot. It goes, and there's two little holes there. They fit in nicely, and then you tighten those screws. And tighten them good and tight, because it does, if you grab that, it can come off if you're not careful. And this is, again, a filter drawer that goes in there. So that's the basic setup. Now I have this heat absorbing glass that I was talking about that needs to go on as well, and it doesn't quite fit into this part, the lamp housing, so it's going to have to be embedded in there somehow. So I'll show, I'm just going to tape it, but I'm hoping there's a better solution. Maybe one day I'll buy the proper framing for and the proper sized heat glass. So my understanding is the heat absorbing glass that comes with this is actually a little bit smaller and has like some mounting brackets and would fit right inside to the lamp housing. But here you see it's the exact size of the lamp housing, so I can't quite go in. So right now my kind of poor man's solution is I'm just going to tape it on here and then set the whole thing in there. So that way the heat absorbing glass is above the filter and above the negative, obviously. So hopefully that'll help cut it out. When you turn on this lamp and you put your hand here, it's amazing how much heat you feel. And I put my hand in front of it with the heat absorbing glass, and most of that heat's gone. So And since you don't have your lamp on for a long, long time, hopefully that really makes a difference. So that's what I'm going to do right now.
Go.
Okay. So I don't like how ugly this looks and how stupid it is as a solution, but if it holds the glass in place, and then the tape is partly held up by being wedged in there, and as long as I can still put that in there, that's good. I'm tightening this one because that's where it wanted to be. Does that look like it's good? Yep. So I'm pretty happy with that, and even though I would want to trim this tape away, it's actually holding it in, and then I can remember to grab that when I take it out so the glass doesn't fall whenever I have to change the bulb or remove the housing for any other reason. So it's fine, and this comes in and out fine, so that means that the glass is held above that. So I think I have a system that will at least work, even if it's not elegant. So one other thing I did with my enlarger here is when it came to the negative carriers, I was noticing it didn't seem to have perfect compression on my holder, and there was a little bit of light leaking. So I made kind of like a gasket out of foam, and so I put it on there, and it helped the thing weigh it down a little bit more, put better compression on the negative, and there was virtually no light leak. So I don't know if that was a stupid idea or not, but it made me happy. If there's a reason I shouldn't do something like that, you can let me know. But anyway, it was a little trick I tried out. So that's the Omega B-22. Definitely a buy.